Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well, and in today's video we're going to be showing you our second Elden boss. In the previous video we have covered Malenia, Blade of Miquella, and a lot of you guys enjoyed that, and today we are doing her quote-unquote arch nemesis, which is Starscourge Radahn. Now you can access these bosses right now by going to the new roundtable hold and going to the Hall of Elden Champions to challenge those versions of those bosses. And of course I have to thank Mihai for working on designing this boss and Kaji for designing the new variation, which we'll be talking about in a bit. Now Radahn has been a very cool project to work on. In line with the more presentation heavy boss encounters prevalent in Elden Ring, we wanted to emphasize that particular trait of the boss fight while also adding new mix-up and surprises for the players. This Radahn can and will use his summoned meteors a lot more than usual, not to mention he can summon meteors on the spot if the need arises. In repurposing some of his cut animations, we attempted to emphasize the new modularity we introduced to those meteors. He can choose to only launch a specific set of meteors now, as opposed to all at once, throughout the fight, instead of only during specific attacks. And the longer the fight goes on, the more he will add these meteors to his regular arsenal. Oftentimes they are not a threat to players if they stay close, but they will be a huge problem if the player is attempting to run away. Indeed, we wanted to even more than usual promote strafes and blind spotting the relentless attacks from Radahn. A not unnoticeable amount of his follow-ups have been changed too in order to take players by surprise, either by allowing him to cancel out of his lengthier animations in order to react to the player positioning, or by offering a variety of mix-ups for his regular attacks that force specific strafes, such as double long-range sweep after his rampaging attacks initiation. Certain attacks now have increased tracking though, so players will need to come up with new strafes for them. Another monumental change that we have made to Radahn is rewriting his entire Phase 2 AI. For those unfamiliar with this, his Phase 2 AI script is an extensive loop of scripted attacks that follow a specific progression. While it is an impressive piece of coding, we wanted to preserve the general structure of it while also reintroducing some decision making on the part of the boss. So now, while he will definitely summon meteors in Phase 2, this is not going to necessarily be the first thing he opts to do. Rather, he might instead go into his corkscrew attack, a rarely seen attack otherwise. In this way, players have the opportunity to engage with his entire moveset in a much more dynamic way, in our opinion, as opposed to following a script that the designer sets. If you've never seen the corkscrew attack before or his second Phase 2 repeat meteor crash attacks, now's your chance. Normal Radahn only unlocks his meteor attack for his regular moveset at 20% HP, meaning that effectively players will rarely see it, since usually they have enough damage to finish him off whenever he reaches that percentage of HP. Our Radahn has it unlocked from the very start of Phase 2, while keeping the regular 3-minute cooldown that the attack has. However, we have slightly altered his meteor attack, as regularly it is nothing more than a huge time waster. It was possible in vanilla to roll into it and therefore earn a punish for it, but we wanted to work with that, and in doing so, we have slightly reduced its travel distance. This way, it would be a lot easier for players to outspace it, perhaps, and get a punish for what is otherwise a very extensive downtime in the fight. Now, for the largest change yet. Radahn needed more gravity magic in our opinion, and in brainstorming means for him to showcase his capabilities, we have come up with two new grab attacks for him. The first has him flying into the air, and the mere shockwave of his launch raises the player up in a maelstrom of gravitational energy, while the second one has him sheathing his swords and releasing an outburst of gravitational energy that launches the player up in the air as Radahn keeps his sight on them unflinchingly. And since this is supposed to be the apex of Radahn's powers, what better way to encapsulate that than by coming with what essentially is an MMO raid boss enraged phase. Once downed, Radahn will rise back up, overwhelmed by Malenia's wrought power in a last fit of strength, releasing all of his potential strength in controlling the stars. I'm just gonna let it speak by itself. So with his demise, the world shatters, the skies fall. A meteor storm, the likes of which the lands between has never seen before, overtakes the scenery as Radahn draws his last breath. Now the player is tasked with putting an end to this colossal foe before the rot overtakes him and us all. And this final clash will determine the fate of the lands between in this hypothetical scenario that we have envisioned. by defeating him, you will earn one of the newest weapons we have in the mod, which is the Starscourge Lion Great Shield. Now, if you are a true Souls fan, you will immediately know what this is inspired by, which was the Great Shield Door shield from Dark Souls 3's DLC. And we have sort of also added our own touch to it with Radahn, where now the weapon art, which is a stance weapon art, has two different attacks. So one of them is attacking forward with the shield and then blocking again. And the other one is a laser-like attack that you can launch from the shield. This weapon is very fun to play with, and I can't wait to hear you guys' opinion about it when you play with it. All of this and much more is now in the Garden of Eyes mod, which you can access in early access right now on our Patreon, so make sure you check that out and check out our other videos. Make sure to like and subscribe and support our channel and our Patreon. It helps tremendously supporting the team and making sure the mod's development keeps going, and we can't wait to show you what else stuff we have in the mod coming soon. So, thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you later. Bye bye.